Agreed. Greetings and salutations.
The universe is just doomed. 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 Doomed.
Hi, welcome to the new year.
Hello, it's us still. The same people. We didn't turn into each other or different people, even though we're doing a David Lynch movie.
Oh, I know. That's right. There was no time. Well, we did a little time traveling. We're doing a little time traveling now because we're in the past.
Ooh, we're still in last year.
We are.
Don't tell anybody.
It tracks.
We're just dreaming ourselves into the new year.
We're dreaming ourselves into the new year. That's a boom.
Which isn't that pretty much all David Lynch
pretty much
does
transcendental meditation.
And like he just writes his dreams come to life.
Yeah, why not?
And so we're not going to overanalyze Twin Peaks because he doesn't want you to do that.
Because why?
And it doesn't mean anything.
You'll hurt yourself.
Yes. It's just enjoy the show. My
just
kid,
sit back.
My oldest kid came in when I was watching it last night and was like, he stood and stared for probably like 5 minutes and he goes, I think I need to leave before I have some sort of panic attack.
Right? Because,
between
in some
the
parts
music
for
and
sure.
the visuals, like.
Yeah, when things start flashing, electricity.
Exactly. And if you have I've never exposed my kids to Twin Peaks.
Well, I didn't before. Well, I did kind of have somewhat of an exposure before I had seen the movie because I saw the movie before I saw the show.
I think I did too.
I saw the movie because I was too young at that point when the show was out.
Yeah, same.
And I didn't see the movie until later.
This came out in 1992, so
right.
I would have been 12-ish.
Right, and I was even like smaller.
10,
and when
my
the show
parents
came out
didn't
in
watch
90,
it.
my mom did. She was super into Twin Peaks. She was all about, like, we would have to leave places.
So she'd get home and watch Twin Peaks? Oh,
yes.
Nice.
She was super into it. So she saw, like, I have memories of seeing scenes from, like, when that guy takes that fucking garden rake to his face, the fucking guy that has the diary.
Yeah.
Like, that stands out as a childhood memory because my mom watched Twin Peaks.
So the series came out in 90,
yes.
right? And this was 92.
And this was supposed to come out right after, but for reasons, it didn't.
It couldn't have been that big of a gap, though. It was
well,
only
yeah,
because
it was 92, and then it was like only those 2 seasons, though.
And then they ended up not having a bunch of the cast from the show in this, and a lot of them say scheduling conflicts. But then Sherilyn Fenn, she says something about, I didn't like the arc they took with my character in season, or the way the direction of the story. But they also say Sherilyn Fenn's difficult to work with. So
that could be a thing. Well, because also like Horse wasn't in it. Well, he was, and that's the thing. There was a bunch of people that were in it that were cut.
Right.
A bunch of people from the show. Like Horse had a whole thing, and I feel like there was a couple other people that had parts in it that were from the show that didn't end up in the movie.
Most significantly for me was the change from Lara Flynn Boyle to Moira Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, although she did a great job.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's a fine Donna.
She just, I mean.
I know. Well, then that's
the
other rumor is that not Sherilyn Fenn. Lara Flynn Boyle
didn't want to get her titties out.
But she was like, no, it was scheduling things. I would have gotten them titties out.
I mean, if they had at least been with hot dudes, but no. They were getting groped by
No.
Gross
She was like, you don't want to do what I do, Donna.
And Donna didn't. Yeah, we'll get to that.
I know.
There was this whole silent challenge that happened.
Well, because it fills in, which you could watch it on its own and still have no idea what's going on. And you can watch it as part of, like, you watch the entire show.
Right.
And it fills in a lot of the things
So
that
now
go
you
on.
started a rewatch. I watched the pilot, but that's as far as I got. Because I forgot the pilot was an hour and a half long.
I know. I usually, around this time of the year, the end of the year or the beginning of the New Year's, is Twin Peaks time for me. I usually will have a rewatch. So I did. I watched the entire original series. And then I also started, but didn't pay close enough attention to The Return.
I think we got 3 or 4 episodes in. We got at least as far as seeing Michael Cera dressed as Marlon Brando.
Oh my God. That's like my most hated. It's my most hated just because I'm scared of Michael Cera.
Why are you scared?
I don't know,
Cera?
but there's nothing behind his eyes, and I just don't like him. I don't know what it is.
Killer.
He could be. I would not be surprised.
Those
him and Armie
CeraVe
Hammer.
commercials were pretty brilliant, though.
He's
Cera,
fine.
CeraVe.
I just don't.
Did you watch Arrested Development?
Yes. I watched Arrested. How much could Arrested Development cost, Nicole? $10?
$10. How much are these bananas?
There's always money in the banana stand. So yes, I did. I mean, I wasn't a devotee, but yes, I did watch that show. And he's fine. He's fine, but I feel like, I don't know.
It was a weird thing. It was a weird
because it was
choice.
like a whole Brando thing.
Maybe David Lynch had a dream about Michael Cera as Marlon Brando.
I bet he
and there
fucking
you go.
did.
He
I
literally
bet he
just
fucking did.
Put it in the show. I
bet he fucking did. And like, I liked that you got to see Andy and Lucy's kid.
Yeah.
And whatever, even though she's like a weirdo now. I mean, she was always a weirdo, but she's like kind of one of those weirdos now.
Oh, really?
Isn't she not?
I don't know.
I feel like I heard something about her being on tour. We don't have anybody else.
Oh
with
yeah,
us tonight.
we didn't even introduce ourselves. I'm Nicole,
and I'm Tessa.
And we have
again.
No research assistant.
No, we don't.
Kick off the new year.
We're alone in the woods, and the owls are not what they seem.
It was just Kim's birthday, and so she's actually out doing birthday things. So.
Right, her husband. She actually her husband got to take her. We had her. And now her husband actually.
I think she's doing stuff with other friends. I'm not sure.
Oh, she has other friends?
Yeah. Can you believe it? How dare she?
Why?
Right? There's no
Just
need
kidding.
when you have us.
I know. God, you could be down here fucking Googling shit for us.
And they don't know it yet, but we'll give you guys a little surprise that we may have our research assistants be a little louder for you.
Oh, that's right. I was like,
what is the surprise?
happening?
Do I know? Yes, you know, girl.
Yes, I do. We just talked about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So while they were not here, we discussed. We've had a lot of requests from y'all.
Yes.
To get these reresearch assistants mic'd up,
and we need to. Quite
and
frankly,
they're resistant, but we feel your pain because when we listen back to the edits, we don't remember.
We are
what they
getting them
said,
on
and we
fucking
can't
mic.
hear them.
I know, we can't hear
so
them either.
We're like, what are we laughing about?
We can't
what did they
remember.
Say? What was the information they gave us? So yeah, we may invest a little bit of our Patreon dollars.
Yes, you are going to get these girls on mic.
Yeah, we're gonna louden them up.
We're gonna louden them up. We're gonna embiggen their voices.
Yes, we are.
Perfectly cromulent word.
Totally. So we'll talk a little bit about the show more,
Yes.
I think, as we go through the movie and it ties in, and maybe a little bit at the end. Mm-hmm. Maybe talk about which do we prefer.
I have a clear answer to that.
I do too. But so let's get into this cast because
yes,
it is
it's
long.
It's an entire fucking page of people. So number one, we've got Sheryl Lee
as Laura Palmer,
and
Ray Wise as Leland Palmer, and they were the featured, like the main in the title credits, and then it's like everyone else is in alphabetical order.
Right. They are like the main two. So we've also got Madge Shinamick as Shelley Johnson.
Eric DeRay. Is that how you say it? As Leo Johnson.
Oh, yeah. And this guy, I'm sorry. He's entirely like too Canadian or whatever the fuck his deal is to be scary. I ain't taking that shit from Leo Johnson. Let me just fucking tell you. Not gonna be me. Not gonna be me, Leo. I would have shot you ages ago.
Get away with it out there too.
Seriously, like everyone's getting away with something out here.
The mom was Grace Zabriskie,
right? And
as
she
Sarah
was
Palmer.
Like guest starred in a lot of or special appearance by.
She just only showed up to have panic attacks on screen,
and like smoke nervously.
Yes.
We have Dana Ashbrook as Bobby Briggs.
Bobby
B.
Oh! Kiefer Sutherland as Sam Stanley, which I did not. I texted Tessa.
Yeah,
I was like, for a minute, I got worried that I never saw this movie.
Right,
because when I started looking at the cast,
fucking time, I forget about that whole.
I remember that Chris Isaak is in it. I remember David Lynch was in it. I did not remember Kiefer Sutherland was in it.
Oh yeah,
I did not remember
the
that
doctor again.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of that same character from Dark City.
Dark City. And what else was he in that we were like, is that what he did before?
Flatliners.
We didn't do
Flatliners yet, but
should.
We're gonna.
Oh, that's right.
I think we're gonna do it this year.
I think we're gonna do it. You guys. Yeah, but I forget that he's in it. I forget that whole fucking
I forgot
thing.
that whole until the boom, boom.
I know, 34 minutes in.
Then I'm like, yes,
Yes,
okay, from
that's
here
it.
on
Now
out,
we're back. We're
Laura's
back,
story,
baby.
I remember.
Yes. Because I forget. Well, anyhow. So they
So
also
yeah, David Lynch is in it.
Chris
Kiefer
Isaak
Sutherland's
is in it.
Chris Isaak is
as
in it.
Chester Diamond. We have Phoebe Augustine as Ronette Pulaski, who was part of the first or the series. David Bowie is Phillip Jeffries.
James Marshall is James Hurley.
Miguel, fucking Jim. Well,
That
I'm gonna
slapped
save it.
ass
I'm gonna fucking
face.
save it. That fucking kicked puppy face. I hate James. I hate him.
Oh, he looks sad all the time.
I know. He's like, you want to slap him. Him and fucking Josie Packard always look like they're about to cry.
They do.
And
they
she's
do.
not in this. I
No.
guess she was also in things that were cut out, but she's not in this
Okay.
actual movie. Miguel Ferrer is Albert Rosenfield.
Peggy Lipton as Norma Jennings.
Heather Graham is Annie Blackburn.
Catherine E. Coulson as the Log Lady.
Moira Kelly is Donna Hayward.
Harry Dean Stanton as Carl Rod.
Oh, where was I?
Pamela Gidley as Theresa Banks.
Right. Lenny Von Dolan is Harold Smith.
And then I just wrote ... Okay, this cast list is long.
I know. It is. It really is. Well, we also have Walter Alashkoash as Jaques.
Yes.
You have to do, and well, how are we leaving out our very, very favorite
Kyle
Maclachlan,
as
who is
Special Agent Dale Cooper.
FBI Dale Cooper. And he was almost not in this movie because he didn't want to get typecast. He almost didn't want to
Thank
come
God
back.
he's one of those ones
Oh,
like we talk
he's-
about how he now embraces
He
all of his.
very much embraces. He drives through Twin Peaks on Twin Peaks Day in February.
We love
Or
Kyle
did,
Maclachlan.
I think the last like 20, well, it's already been 25 years or the 30th or whatever.
And I'm sorry, as classic as Dune is, I don't think we're ever going to get to the
fucking in the pool.
The Dune. Not doing it with two chicks at the same time. I mean the movie Dune.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. That's a long one, and
I know.
It's a dry. It's dry.
It's the spice. It's the sand. It's the desert. It's the worm.
We'll see.
I don't know. Well, that's also David Lynch. Although if we're gonna, David Lynch season is now.
And now our only other David Lynch we've ever done is Lost Highway, right?
Yeah.
What other ones would we do?
Mulholland Drive.
Maybe. I saw that.
Maybe.
I was
That's a
maybe
good one.
2021 when that came out. I saw that in the theater.
That was an Eraserhead.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to
We
think.
don't want to do fucking Inland Empire.
I don't think I ever saw it.
I tried to watch it, but it's like 3 hours long.
Oh, man.
And I told you I fell asleep and I woke up to that demonic Laura Dern and it like haunts my fucking nightmares. Remember when I sent that shit to you? It's fucking awful.
Yeah.
I woke up at like 3 a.m. on my couch in our apartment,
To
that
that
little
on the
tiny
screen.
postage stamp apartment that we used to live in downtown.
Yeah.
And I woke up to that shit and it was like the most horrific thing I have ever fucking seen. I love David Lynch things. I fucking love it. He gives me the
Insane.
fucking creeps every time.
And it's a good thing I'm so bad at film analysis because I never even tried to like figure out what a David Lynch movie meant.
Don't bother.
I just accepted it at face value.
It's exactly what you
it's
should
fucking
do.
weird. I like to look at it.
Yeah.
I like the music.
Yeah.
I like the people that are in it.
Sure. There's
The
a
end.
story in there.
There's a story.
in there if you could follow it. Like it's wild, but there's a story in there.
It's kind of nightmarish. It's dreamy. This is
Well, it's
now
very nightmarish. This part.
trigger warning
Yes.
way in advance. If you never saw Twin Peaks
If you
and you're
have
listening
no
to this
idea
episode,
who killed Laura Palmer,
we're going to get into some child abuse, some
Yes.
sexual abuse,
incest.
and so spoilers and all of the things.
Right. If you're not
be
aware,
warned.
Twin Peaks gets rough.
It's rough.
It
and
is.
the series, I feel like the TV series was more, it wasn't, I'm not going to say
because
lighthearted,
it was on-
but it
no,
had
but
more
it was
of
on
a
network television. You couldn't do that shit. Like
Right.
I remember when I watched the movie yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, the titties and the
Yeah.
because it was a network television show.
Yeah. In
They
the
couldn't do
series,
that
everything
shit.
was just alluded to.
Right.
The
But
movie's like,
makes
no.
it very clear.
We're gonna
what's
make it
going
clear
on.
what's happening.
Well, and that's what people apparently did not like the movie because the movie is it's a David Lynch movie. It's weird as
Right.
fuck
And brutal.
and non-sequential and like you really have to follow it. And this series was more like, what if David Lynch made a soap opera? Like even down to the music.
Well, and Kyle Maclachlan keeps you centered. Mm-hmm. His presence, his very presence keeps you like he's someone you follow, who's like a neutral character, who's not, is not involved in this murder because he's the FBI agent who just showed up in this town.
Exactly.
He's like the only one who's completely discounted from involvement from all the weirdos in this town. And it's a journey through not just the story of Moira Palmer.
Right.
That's just our entryway into learning about the weirdos that live in Twin Peaks.
Well, it was supposed to be like the series and all of this other stuff were supposed to be all of these weird things that tied into the Black Lodge. Mm-hmm. But because the movie didn't do so hot, it kind of ended.
Bummer.
To like any kind of series until we saw him again in 25 years.
Right.
In the return.
Which that was amazing that they did really did it 25 years later.
Yes. And so many people came back from that.
Yeah.
The log lady. It was like the last thing she did before she died.
Amazing.
Her and Hawk. Hawk's my favorite also, by the way. He's not in this movie, but Hawk's my favorite.
And which one was that? Which is
Michael Horst, the native guy, the little sheriff, he's big, the sheriff guy,
the little,
also mommy and daddy being in
sheriff or the
mommy and daddy aren't in it.
Yeah,
Ed and Nadine.
Yeah, the Hurleys or whatever.
Right, they're not.
I miss her obsession with the fucking runners.
The
on
noiseless
her
runner.
blinds.
That was another thing that was like the long con. Was that when she went off and went back to high school and had amnesia?
Oh, yeah, that was all so weird.
And when she woke up after all of that, and she's like, where are my silent runners?
That's all she could think about. That was her fixation.
Good. So good.
So let's actually get into this movie.
Let's do this because there's a whole weird fucking thing that happens before we get back into the town of Twin Peaks. So, we don't. It's not even...
Because we're not in Twin Peaks to begin with. So someone smashes an old TV, a woman screams, there's a body floating down the river, and then David Lynch is yelling at his secretary
to get... Gordon Cole, as he does.
Yes, to get Chet on the phone.
I feel like it's a little less than... It's hollering, but not hollering as much as he does in the series. In the series, I feel like he
brought it down a notch.
I think he brought it down just a notch for the actual movie, but he's yelling like he does.
Yes, to get I think it was Chet, right? On
right,
the phone.
He wants to get Chester Diamond on the phone,
and he's busy arresting a bus driver,
like the kids are
picked
screaming.
up some ladies for solicitation while he has a school bus full of children. Is all I could get out of that.
Well, it's David Lynch. Let's not, whatever. It's just scenes, baby.
But yeah, so he's telling him Theresa Banks has been murdered. You need to come to the Portland airport. And when he gets there,
by
Gordon
plane,
Cole,
like private plane, like come to the private airport in Portland.
Gordon Cole and Kiefer Sutherland's character, Sam Stanley, are waiting for him at the airport.
And he's like, I got a surprise for you.
This is one of the weirdest fucking parts of this movie.
It gives me the in heaven, everything's fine. From Eraserhead, the girl with the cheeks.
Okay.
The one that, also the girl that sings down at the club gives me that too.
Yeah.
Regardless, this gal walks out with her knees together in a red dress with the blue
red
rose,
wig
with the red wig, and she's making a face, and she's like clenching her hand with one.
She's doing all these hand movements. Yeah.
And the other one is making a fist sign.
Yeah, she's doing all kinds of weird shit.
Right.
And so Gordon's like, all right, well, you and Sam go off and you start on the case and I'm going back to Portland.
Right. And he was like, this is my mother's sister's gal. Like all of this shit means something, which she's going to break it down a bit.
So once they get in the car and they're on their way, he's like, so what did you notice about Lil or whatever?
Yes, her name is Lil.
Her face had a sour look, which means we're going to have problems with local authority.
Right, and both eyes were blinking, which means trouble higher up.
One hand in her pocket means they're hiding something.
And the other hand was making a fist, which means they're belligerent about it.
Well, and like, I'm sorry, is the airport bugged? Why could he not have just explained all of this?
Because it's the FBI and it's fucking David Lynch and Gordon Cole.
They really hired like a mime? She was basically a mime.
I know. And all of it is like secret code. It's wild.
But he knows it all, and Kiefer Sutherland knows nothing.
And he was like, so she was walking in place. We got to do a lot of leg work. And he said, his mother's sister's girl, no uncle, which probably means the sheriff's uncle is in federal prison.
What? And that never even comes up
No,
later.
it sure doesn't.
And the tailored dresses are code for drugs.
Right, but the blue rose, I can't tell you about that.
Blue rose.
Yeah. Okay,
We never do. We
No.
just find out it's Gordon's blue rose cases, but you don't find out what that means.
Oh, no, it's one of Chester's
yeah,
blue rose
Chester's
cases.
blue
Don't
rose
get no
cases.
bluer. It's the bluest it's ever been.
We don't ever find out
No,
exactly
we
what
really
that means.
don't. I
Blue
mean-
velvet, blue rose. He's got a
Right?
thing with blue.
He do. And also, like, the static is very blue. It's very calming.
Yeah.
Very calming.
There's always that kind of blue flashing light is going on.
the electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go to the local sheriff's office, which is
And
not
then-
in Twin Peaks. This is some other neighboring
this is
town
in,
or
Oregon, I feel like, outside of Portland.
okay. So yeah,
Is
which
this
is close to
Bend?
Washington.
Things are shaking in Bend.
And the fucking deputy, I
I
don't know
know.
what is even. So
The-
we know they're not going to cooperate with the FBI, but this deputy and this secretary,
Right there, Lucy is a bitch.
they're like,
And that guy's an asshole.
he is. And thank God he gets his comeuppance.
I grabs him
because-
by the nose.
by the nostrils. Like,
Oh.
what? I've never seen a move like that.
Well, because he's in the FBI.
I guess they just get to manhandle the local.
Sure,
local law
of course they
enforcement.
do.
But yeah, so he's giving him shit like they're not going to let him see the sheriff, and he grabs
he's
him by
like,
the nostrils.
It's federal, bub.
Yeah. And he enters the Sheriff Cable's office like, I'm here to investigate the murder of Theresa Banks. Well, little fella, we don't need any outside help around here.
Guess what? Federal.
When I heard a J. Edgar was coming down.
Oh, yeah. J. Edgar. He's so clever.
And then Agent Chet lays down the fucking law. And he just
Let
is
me
like,
just
oh.
tell you, give me all my shit.
And he just tosses that box at him like, fine.
Right. So he gets it. They go to examine the body.
Which is like
Which-
in the outhouse morgue.
This corpse work that this hold on a second.
She was
hold on
very.
a second.
I don't know how she kept her eyes still like that.
I have her fucking name. Where is
I
her
thought I
fucking
wrote it.
name?
I thought we said it
I
in
know
the
I did.
beginning. I said
Pamela
Theresa Banks.
Gidley. Yeah, Theresa Banks. This corpse work
She did.
did not move.
She did not move.
Pupils fixed and
I
dilated.
don't know how
Is
because he
that a-
moved her head and they stayed
I know.
still.
The teeth
Uh-huh.
dry.
Yep.
Is this a? I mean, it doesn't look like a dummy. This
It
looks
doesn't.
like.
I don't know. We don't have a research assistant. To
We
look it
don't.
up
We
for
have no
us.
one to fucking look it up, and I'm not entirely sure. I
But
have the
hopefully
thing
it's
open.
just her, and she did excellent.
I
Fucking
know.
corpse
Like,
work.
is she a mime?
Right. So she's got no one came to claim her body, no next of kin. So Sam starts his forensic exam and
Right.
notices she's missing a ring. There's like she's
Yes,
all dirty,
there's
but
like
there's a clean spot.
Space missing where she was wearing a ring. He's like, "Where'd her ring go?"
And then he notices
Ringo.
she's got a weird contusion, an interesting contusion
Right,
on
in
the
her-
ring finger.
On her ring finger on her hand. So he gets all. Oh, and
I couldn't watch. I turned my face around.
they do this shit in the fucking series too.
Ripping the
under
nail
fucking
off.
Laura's. No, like he digs.
Digs in the yeah.
How did he see? Well, I guess he would have known because you don't know that he knows already about this thing under the finger.
Right.
Because that happens a year later.
Right.
Laura has not happened yet.
Right.
So it explains in the series why he already knows to check under her
the
fucking
fingernail.
finger.
But in this one, he just sees the contusion and he puts her hand in this like microscope box
Weird
thing, and
like you get a close up again of this digging under this fingernail. Oh, I hate it.
I can't.
And it's like a little tiny letter T. I was there.
Teeny letter. It was Tessa.
It was
Tessa
me.
the whole time.
I was there underneath Theresa Banks' fingernail.
So they leave finally at 3:30 in the morning.
Right, and they're not going anywhere. They're going to go get something to eat at this
At Hap's Diner where Theresa worked.
used to work. So
And-
they go to talk to Irene.
So Chet's asking her some questions, and she's like, "Nice girl, never seemed to get here on time."
I think
though."
she had a problem with that.
And he's like, "You seen her use cocaine?
No,
You use cocaine,
I don't use no kind of drugs.
And
Caffeine is a drug.
right?
Nicotine
Kiefer
is a drug. I
Sutherland
know,
over
like
here.
Sam
Straight edge.
Stanley is on the fucking spectrum,
Seriously,
and he's could be straight edge. I don't know. Like he had coffee.
true,
He's not
true.
Well, at least he's not Mormon.
And this old man at the counter who's like,
You
talking
talk about that little
young girl
that got
died.
murdered? But like, and this almost Robert Palmer video woman that's
This
sitting next
young,
to him
like,
speaking
French woman?
and he says that twice.
Yeah, and that never comes up again.
No, it's just the weird people that live in
this is
Pacific
like
Northwest.
4 a.m. in the Pacific Northwest at a local diner in a small town. Like, weird shit's happening.
Of course, there's nothing good going on at those hours. Well, there's always good things going on, but it's interesting, good, not like safe good,
right?
Possibly.
So Chet makes Sam pour his own coffee in his lap by asking him for the time.
He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. We'll get something to eat now."
And the waitress tells them that, "Oh yeah, I forgot. Teresa's arm also completely went dead for 3 days before she died."
Oh, 3 days before. Well, first she's like, "You want to hear about our specials? We ain't got any."
Oh, Irene.
Oh, Irene. You're so randy.
And then that old man asks again about, you talking about that little girl who got murdered? And like they just ignore him.
I know. They're like,
weirdo.
Okay, never mind.
And now, we never actually find out why Teresa's arm went dead for 3 days before she died. And that has absolutely nothing to do with the story.
Well, it's probably all the cocaine.
She did so much cocaine.
It could have been that Jaques fell asleep on her fucking arm. I don't know.
Could be. So Chet thinks Sam should take the body back to Portland to find out, do some nerve work.
Right. He was like, well, and he needs to go like to get an actual autopsy room.
Right. Because like they're literally like in an indoor outhouse. Yeah.
So he's like, you ride with the body. I'm going to stay here. Oh, wait. Did we entirely skip the part where they go to the trailer park?
That's right now.
Oh, is it right
now?
now?
The Fat Trout trailer park is the next stop. So yeah, he tells him he should take the body back, but then he comes with him to the trailer park.
To the thing, and they are like banging on the door, but then they don't see that do not ever disturb before 9 a.m. ever.
And
like,
he's
oh,
like,
shit.
He's like still his same character as when he was the drunk dad in Pretty in Pink.
Kind of.
Only now he runs a trailer park.
Kind of. That's what happened when Andy left town.
When she finally grew up and went to college.
And she went to fucking fashion school and left her dad to like die alone. Like
now he's just a drunkard who runs a trailer park.
Well,
so he shows them her. He's like, oh my god, it's the most fucking popular trailer in town.
Everybody wants to fucking be here right now. Like you're not the first people to be here. So like, yeah, it's over here. I told them it's over here. I ain't touched shit since all this happened.
And they go in, they find that she has a photo of herself on the fridge and she's wearing the ring that she has
the ring in the picture, and she is also blonde and pretty and whatever, which we don't.
And this ring is going to come up several times, and we're not going to find out what the fuck it has to do with anything.
It has nothing to do with, well, it has everything to do with everything.
But it also, like, they're never going to just straight up explain to you.
That's the thing. You will never, ever, ever get a straight up explanation as to what any of this shit means. You could go mad.
You
could discuss it. You could discuss it the house down, pazoo zoots. Mm-hmm. Don't matter.
So Carl makes them all a cup of Good Morning America.
Yes. And whoo! It's
48-hour brew.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And this filthy old woman, is this not Mama Fratelli?
That's what I said.
Is she uncredited?
Is that Mama Fratelli? Because I didn't see her name.
I did not either, but
what
that
is her
the
name?
Spitting image of fucking Mama Fratelli.
If that ain't Mama Fratelli, I'll eat my fucking beret.
I'll throw Mama Fratelli from the train.
Oh!
But yeah, that looks exactly like her. And she comes up and they're like, oh, did you know Teresa? And she just shakes her head and leaves. Like,
right. It's
again, nothing to do with anything.
And weird. And does that not give you Mulholland Drive?
A little bit, yeah.
That guy gets scared to death. Scared to death.
So back at the sheriff's office, he's like, you ain't taking this body nowhere.
He's like, yes, I fucking am.
And he's like, also, where's that missing ring at?
What ring?
Oh, we got a phone here. It makes a little ring.
Bitch,
he should have nostrilled
him ass too.
Seriously.
He should have got the fucking nostrils.
So this is where Chet sends Sam off with the body, and he goes back again to the trailer park.
Right, and he's looking at all this fucking shit.
And Sam tells him, you're going back for the blue rose.
Right, you're looking for the blue rose, which he doesn't know what that is, but you're looking for whatever that is, because everything has come true so far. The fucking law enforcement is dicks. They're not helpful.
Right.
They're belligerent about it. They're being fucking dicks. They're not holding things up, all that shit. So you're looking for whatever the blue rose is, and that's why you're sending me along. So he goes back.
And he finds out that deputy that he grabbed by the nostrils
he
lives in
there
the trailer
too.
park. And again, red herring.
Right. Has nothing to do with anything. He's red-haired.
It's a red herring.
Literally.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God. David Lynch.
And he finds the missing ring under his trailer.
Right, but no, it's not even under his trailer.
Or it's just like under another trailer.
Because those are where the Chalfonts lived. But then before
and the Chalfonts rented there before, which again, nothing to do with anything.
Right, nothing to do with fucking anything. And
Makes no
that's
sense.
not until it's still there at this
There's
moment.
like 12
right
red herrings in this.
Yes. Right underneath the thing is the fucking ring. And right after that, and I thought that fucking telephone pole was going to be relevant.
Was going to come up because they kept panning to that telephone pole.
Showing that fucking 82410 something.
No, and nothing, again, nothing
red
to do
herring,
with anything.
Red herring number 6, probably.
So now we're in Philadelphia and we finally get just a little taste of Dale Cooper.
Right.
Who comes to see Gordon.
Yes.
Because he's worried about today because he had this weird dream about this
today,
date.
Which is February 16th. Didn't he say?
I don't remember. I didn't write down the date.
Oh, I did. It's 10:10 a.m. on February 16th. So yeah, he's had a dream about the day and he's not like, he goes and looks in the camera at the hall. And then goes back in there and doesn't see himself and then goes back out and stands in the camera.
And like, is he going up by a floor? Because they keep also showing the elevator thing. And so I didn't think he was going up.
Jeffries comes out of the elevator.
So it's just showing that somebody's coming up
the elevator. Okay. So like he comes up, speaking of, Phil Jeffries comes up the elevator.
Which is David Bowie.
And he comes out and he doesn't even seem to see
No, he doesn't
Dale,
see him and Dale doesn't see him.
But he's been missing.
Yes.
Also, like they know he's missing. They find that out now, right?
Right. I think right here, yeah.
And then also Phil Jeffries, who has been missing, shows up unexpectedly.
Right at the same time where Dale catches his own, where he manages to run back into the camera room and see himself still standing on camera as Phil Jeffries passes him in the hall.
Right. He finally gets to see that. And then he runs into Gordon's office and they're like, Jeffries, where the hell have you been? Mm-hmm. And he's like, who do you think that is?
And that accent that David Bowie has.
Southern fried accent.
And it's the long lost Phillip Jeffries. And then there's this overlay of like scary Pinocchio.
Yes.
And with this ring Ivy wed and Bob and like David Lynch as a child.
That's exactly what I wrote. Him
that has to be David Lynch as a child, right?
That's got to be a nephew or something.
Or something.
But yes, I wrote the same exact thing. That whole fucking mask. And Bob is one of the scariest things in the fucking world to me.
And he was an accident, right? He was just like a stagehand or something.
Yeah, he was like a grip or whatever. And David Lynch decided that he was the embodiment of all fucking evil.
Sure,
and
sorry
he's
about
scary as fuck. I checked behind furniture
for Bob.
I checked behind
dressers.
furniture for Bob. Yes, behind dressers, behind beds, behind couches. When he comes up over that couch, when he's standing behind the when he's
scary.
making that face,
he's scary.
Have you seen this man?
He's scary.
Yes, and he's terrifying.
And you know what? Weirdly, in certain scenes, who I could see doing Bob, Fred Armisen.
Why would you say that? Because I feel like you just you just put that out in the universe.
I know Fred Armisen.
And Fred Armisen, I know he's listening. He's going to hear this somehow. And he's going to be like, you know what? You're right.
I'm going to
do
it. Even in just a parody version.
He's going to push it through. He's going to make this shit happen.
You know what it is? It's that character in Portlandia where they're the lesbians.
Yes.
The long gray hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet you he's channeling Bob.
Yep.
If he was wearing mismatched denim, which I have my denim jacket in there, and I almost
Canadian
wore jeans
tuxedo?
on jeans. I almost wore that because it's not quite gray enough.
No, you aren't
I'm
anywhere
gonna
near
sneak
Bob
up on
levels.
your bed in the night. I'm gonna
Just
sneak
that-
up on your bed and then like
look.
growl in your face a little bit.
Oh,
I'm gonna lick your thigh.
no. So they're like we see an overlay of like kind of hangouts at the lodge.
Yes, they're in but it's not though. It's like a whole.
It's
different
not
room.
quite. Yeah,
There's like this weird guy with the beard and the stove and the man from another place.
I don't know what he's from.
And the mask guy
and the old lady and the kid.
Right, the Miss Tremond and Baby Lynch and Bob, and they're all in this place that's not the Black Lodge. At least it doesn't look like it.
There's like flashes of like you
They're in
see
the
for
cabin.
a second like the red and the zigzag floor you see for just a second, but they're not like sitting in the lodge.
No, they're not. They're like in the vestibule.
Yeah. The vestibule to the lodge. And the front desk is telling him Phillip was never even here. What are you talking about? And they go and find the footage where
like,
he's
Phillip,
gone.
Like, he's gone. He
just disappears in front of their very
erratically
eyes.
talking about you assume where he's been.
Yeah.
This is all just very bizarre.
And again, has nothing at all to do with what this movie is about.
Nope. In fact, I feel like I read David Bowie's a little disappointed.
Oh, really?
Because he was like, yeah, I didn't have anything to do with this.
No.
Like, with the story, with the movie. Like, I showed up for a couple of
days. He didn't even get
days.
to go to Twin Peaks. He was in fucking Philadelphia.
He was in Twin Peaks for the series,
right?
He was actually part of that whole thing.
Or he was supposed to be and didn't get to be, or...
I feel like
we
he
need
was
a research
in a couple... I
assistant.
know. I feel like he was in a couple of episodes. I just fucking watched it. See, this is what happens. I go through the time loop.
We're adult.
And I am. But like, I forget. As soon as I watch it, I forget. That's why I have to do a rewatch every year, because like you cannot remember or retain the information from a David Lynch movie.
Well,
it's
and
impossible.
again, we're all the way up to just past this point. We're going to take a break in a second once we get to this next point.
Before we get to the beginning of the fucking movie?
Because still, all of this part, I forgot. So now Dale now goes to the trailer park where Chet disappeared.
Yes.
And goes to the deputy, or he directs him to the deputy's trailer.
Is gone. He's like, I'm not going over there. I'm going over here.
And he goes to the one where the ring was under it, and he's like, what was here? And that's
like
when
a
he's
trailer.
like, oh, that was the Chalfonts.
And then the people that live here before were Chalfonts. That's weird.
And Agent Chet's vehicle is still there, and it says, let's rock in lipstick on the windshield.
Yeah.
And then Dale leaves one of his classic notes for Diane on his little tape recorder.
I love Diane. I love the whole...
And she ends up being in the new series.
She's Laura
Dern, right? Yeah.
And she looks very with the wig that's red with the whole whatever. That she gives Lil a little bit.
Oh, okay.
In the return.
Interesting. So yeah, he leaves her a voice note. This case gives him a strange feeling. This is one of Cole's Blue Rose cases.
Right.
So it is Cole's.
Other people know about... Oh, it is Cole's. Yeah. Okay, so like other people know about what these Blue Rose things, but Sam was not high up enough to know about what this is.
So before we get into the actual crux of the movie...
Right. Before the fucking movie starts.
This may be a double breaker.
It could be, because it is a 2 hour and 15-minute long movie.
And it's the beginning of a new year.
Exactly.
A little treat.
Beginning of a new year.
And you know what happens when you leave us unattended.
It's spend over times. We are unattended. We are not rushed. We're taking our time. It's Janueerie.
That's right.
So,
we forgot to even say we were kicking off Janueerie.
I know. Well, I just said it.
Now you did. But
I just did.
If we didn't tell you, we're doing themed months. We're trying in January.
We're trying. So we're trying this.
It's Janueerie.
It's Janueerie. Isn't that clever?
Some eerie movies.
Isn't that clever?
And we'll be right back.
We'll be back.
Boom, 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 boom. 1 year later, we're finally in Twin fucking Peaks.
But we're finally in Twin fucking Peaks.
And from
1
here,
year later, now
I remember this movie.
Exactly. From here,
yes,
I remember this movie. And actually, I have a couple of little fun facts.
Ooh, fun facts.
Fun facts. So all of the members of the Blue Rose team, other than Agent Cooper, are played by musicians.
Okay.
Chris Isaak, David Bowie, and Miguel Ferrer. Bowie and Ferrer have both worked with Bing Crosby. Bowie recorded a Christmas album with him, while Ferrer worked as a drummer when Crosby went on tour with his mother, Rosemary Clooney. And I feel like Miguel Ferrer and George Clooney are related.
Oh, interesting.
So anyway, but was not the Christmas thing that David Bowie did with Bing Crosby, Little Drummer Boy?
Oh, I don't remember.
I feel like it was.
That sounds right.
So anyway, and also the people that were original regulars that were in scenes that were cut were Harry Truman, the Haywards, Ed and Nadine, which we talked about, Pete Martell, Josie Packard, Lucy and Andy, Hawk, Dr. Jacoby, the Briggses, and I think that was it. Those were all people that did have scenes that were in the thing, but were all cut.
For that 34 minutes of Chris Isaak and Kiefer Sutherland,
right?
That you forgot about and had nothing to do with the movie. Yes.
The people of Twin Peaks.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I guess they were showing that, like, because he says, Cooper talks about how, like, he's obviously killed before and he's going to kill again. And a year later, sure as shit.
Right.
Because he's talking about.
So give me a 10-minute scene where Gordon and fucking Dale Cooper have a conversation about this murder and look at this body and then bam, 1 year later, Twin Peaks. Like, I didn't need 34
and
minutes.
And then fill in all of the spots in fucking Twin Peaks because now it's a year later.
Right.
And I want to know what the fuck happened. I want to know. Well, you had to wait until fucking 25 years later to find out what Laura saw in the fucking woods when she screams and she's there with James and she's all like upset. You don't find out until the return what she sees in the fucking woods that made her scream.
Oh.
And I'll tell you what it is when
we get there. So, Laura Palmer, innocently walking to school, picks up her best friend Donna, who's now Moira Kelly.
She is morphed into...
But David Lynch likes to do that anyway.
I know.
So maybe Donna's character is just a new person now. Or she turned into a new person once Laura
like
died.
A new person because it didn't seem like she was into that shit.
No.
In the series.
And the way like Bobby and his douche friend are hollering at her.
Fucking Mike.
It does not seem like that's her boyfriend.
Mike.
That seems like
like
he's just some douche hollering at her as she's walking to school. They got nothing to
offer this world but date rapes and AIDS jokes.
Pretty much.
They're Curtin Ram of the fucking Pacific Northwest.
Yep. And she gets to school and James stops her on the stairs.
Oh, with that God damn it.
With that
Laura. No wonder she writes that shit about him in her fucking diary about how he's real fucking sweet.
Yeah. And she goes to a bathroom stall to do a bump at 7:30 a.m.
Sure,
Jesus Christ.
She's got to get going. I didn't see her have any of that fine coffee.
That's true. And James is waiting for her later. And now at first I thought this was after school, but this is what? After gym, he meets her coming out of the locker room in her towel.
And she gets them titties out.
She sure do.
Her little fucking puppy face James, little fucking
and
he's going to cry.
Like, how are you going to make this whole sentimental moment where she's all gobble, gobble?
I know. I'll be gone like the turkey and the corn.
The turkey's the dumbest animal at all.
You're not a turkey, Laura.
Gobble, gobble,
gobble, gobble.
And then titty out like fucking.
Now I'm hot.
Yeah. Now that you cried and talked about being a turkey.
Sure.
Well, it wasn't him trying to get it on. She's the one who put his hand down there. And
I know.
He was like,
she came in a towel. Like, he was fully dressed. And like, what's he doing in there? Fucking Kevin Bacon dancing? Is he Footloose dancing in there?
In the shower.
He's a secret fucking dancer.
No, he came to meet her after gym.
Sure. Where are they?
In the fucking locker room, I guess. I don't know.
Anyhow.
So then at the end of the day, she's walking out with Donna and Bobby comes up. He's been looking for her. And this is where you're like, okay, what is their relationship? Because she's like, oh, you're so dumb. I was standing right behind you.
Right. He's like, I've been looking for you all day. But he saw her earlier in the fucking day. She was too busy fucking James.
Yeah.
Well, I know she was too busy fucking James. Because also when you have watched the series, it also tells you about this whole relationship.
But so Bobby gets a little rough with her, like,
right. And she's like, come on, Bobby, let me see it.
She gives him that fucking 48 tooth smile.
I know. She's got so many teeth.
And they're so straight.
I know.
Come on, Bobby. And he's like, oh, I love you.
I know you. That's just their relationship because they're all on blow.
Right? Her and Bobby are for sure.
Right.
So Donna and Laura are laying around on Donna's fancy living room furniture.
Sure. And like she asks her about James.
Are you going to see James tonight?
Right. And like, what about Bobby?
Are you going to see Bobby? My time is my time.
Right?
I'm not telling you.
They got a weird relationship.
They do.
Like Moira Kelly seems more puppy dog than Laura Flynn Boyle ever did.
For sure. But then again, Laura Flynn Boyle didn't get her titties out. Moira Kelly did.
No, she didn't.
And she's like, you don't want to see Bobby. He's a loser and a goon. James is the one. And you can tell she's sweet on James. I know.
Which, that's so fucking infuriating. Anyway.
Why don't you get out your violin, Donna?
Yeah, he's really sweet. Why don't you get out your violin for James then?
He's very sweet and very gorgeous, sure.
Uh-huh.
So then Donna asked this like kind of arbitrary question just to
Right.
make conversation about what do you think it would be like to fall through space?
Like,
And-
do you think you slow down or go faster?
And
So you go
Laura gets
faster,
super serious.
faster and faster. And then then all the angels go away.
You burst into fire forever and the angels won't help you because they've all gone away.
Right. Which actually kind of remember that shit because that does come up.
When like, whoa, I'm just trying to make conversation.
I know.
Girl.
Well, like, what are they high?
She
I didn't
always
see
is.
nobody got a hooter.
I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know,
but
man.
like those aren't cocaine thoughts.
No, not
and
so
Donna
much.
started it.
True. Were they smoking a doobie when they got to Donna?
It
or to
seemed like
Laura's?
it. That's how I lay around on
Donna's-
furniture when I'm high.
Yes.
I don't sit on it properly. I sit on it weird.
So Laura goes home and goes up to her room to smoke a cigarette. Nobody's home, so she's like, "Time to get out the smokes, the ashtray, and the
And
diary."
my secret diary from behind her dresser.
Which doesn't even have a lock. She's so confident in the behind the
Right.
dresser placement that she doesn't even have a locked diary.
No, it's the secret diary of Laura Palmer.
And she lays down to read it and realizes, oh, fuck.
There's
oh, shit.
pages missing.
And she like panic drives to the woods
Yes.
to her therapist's office.
Right. Well, it's just this guy she met on Meals on Wheels.
Was that who he is?
Yeah.
I didn't rewatch the whole series. So,
So
I
that's
don't
what I'm
remember.
saying. Like, if you rewatch the whole series, like all of these things are filled in between. So this is where she goes to meet the guy where she drops off the secret
Howard,
diary.
right?
They go and find it at his place later, and that's when he takes the fucking rake to his face in the
Oh,
series.
okay.
But anyway, like she meets him because of Meals on Wheels. He gets meals delivered
Okay.
on wheels.
Not on wings.
No, on,
On
wheels. So yeah, she goes and hides her because he doesn't know about you.
Right. She didn't write about him in her diary. She's like,
Right.
you got to hide the diary. And he's like, Bob's not real. And she's like,
He's been having me since I was 12.
and no one else could have known where it was. It was
Right.
hidden too well.
Yes.
And he comes in through her window at night. He's getting to know me now. He speaks to me. He says he wants to be me or
he'll
will kill
kill
me.
me.
And then she gets all
Right?
fire.
Walk with me.
And her lips turn black and her face is all
Yes.
white and her mouth's all bloody. And it seems like he sees it. Like he's
Right.
like, whoa,
like,
what
'cause
the
he's
fuck?
all freaked out too, but so is she. She's like having a crap attack.
Yeah. She start crying. Hide my diary, please.
Right.
You made me write this all down.
Yes.
It'll be safe. He doesn't know about you.
Of course.
And then she's like, of course, she's making out with this dude. She makes out with every man she encounters. pretty
yeah,
much.
it seems like, I mean, it is wild in Twin Peaks.
Well,
in
you
these
know, when
times.
someone starts molesting you when you're 12.
Sure, like, yeah, you're
This
going
is
to
a
be
trauma response.
It is indeed. So, like, then it flashes to the ceiling fan thing.
Or
Or no,
taste through your mouth.
oh, no.
Oh. And she's like, no. And then
No.
the lodge. And she
Yes.
fades out. Fades to
Right,
black.
right. So now Cooper's telling the Bureau that he's confident that the killer is going to strike again.
Yeah, there's going to be another murder. And when
right.
it
And
happens,
he's like, but
you're
it's
going to
just
help
a
me solve
feeling,
it.
so I can't. So yeah, he goes to tell Albert, like, I want you to help me solve this case that's coming.
And
It's not
Albert's
even a
like,
thing.
well, who's the next victim going to be, man or woman?
Right. And he was like, she's blonde, she's sexually active, she's on drugs, she's crying out for help. And he's like, oh, good job.
Half the high school girls in America.
Sure. But can you give me more?
What's she doing right now?
Right now, she's preparing a whole lot of food.
Cut to her loading up the Meals on Wheels.
Right. With Shelley.
who's trying to avoid her.
Yes.
She doesn't want to go load up the cart. She's like, oh, I'm
No.
busy. And Norma's like, no, you can go. Which, if you've seen the series, you know it's because she's fucking Bobby.
Right.
And so she's trying not to come face to face with Laura.
With the girl that because she's fucking Bobby. And also, like, Leo
Everybody's
has
fucking
something-
everybody.
Well,
in this
Leo, her
series.
husband, has something to do with all of the things
Right.
that are going on with Laura.
Yes, and he fucks Laura at some point in this movie.
Right. Well,
you don't see
yeah,
it, but
like
it's intimated.
It's
that-
implied.
yeah,
Well, also her and Ronette too.
Yeah.
I think like
they were
Jaques was with Laura.
That's true. We'll get there, but there's a lot of ew. A lot of ew.
Yeah, there's so much you. It's Janueerie.
Janueerie. So Shelley goes to help her load up, and then she sees this old woman and this child,
Right.
baby David Lynch, in the
Baby
street.
David Lynch, and this is Miss Tremblay, who was also
in the series.
Second season. I feel like she was towards the end. Like she is she's a I don't know, whatever. She hangs out with baby David Lynch, who is not in the series.
And she's got this picture she wants to give Laura of this
will look good on your
red
wall.
room.
This weird liminal space.
Mm-hmm. And the kid whispers, the man behind the mask is looking for a book with the page torn out.
Uh-oh.
He's going toward the hiding place.
Uh-oh.
He's under the fan now.
So she knows.
And she's like, I gotta go.
Right.
I can't do Meals on Wheels today.
Nope, I have to get home now.
And was that her car that she left getting loaded with Meals on Wheels?
No, I think it was the wheels that they deliver the meals on.
Public wheels.
They might have been Shelley's wheels or
the
Peggy
diner's
Lipton's
wheels. Yeah, I don't know. So she runs home and we see the ceiling fan.
Yes, which is a weird placement at the top of the stairs. Like that. Yeah.
And she's got that photo under her arm. She took the photo from the lady. And her bedroom door is cracked open.
Right. She goes in there. No one seems to be home, but she walks up into her room and oh my God, I hate it.
Bob is behind her dresser.
I hate it so much.
And she screams and he screams. She runs out of the house and hides under a bush.
And she's like in the neighbor's yard or whatever. And she's like laying there and panicking and crying. And then
she looks up
and someone's coming out of her house.
It's her father.
Because if you had watched the series, you know that he's part of all of this too.
No. Oh my God.
Right, because
it's
it
not
seems
him.
like she doesn't know.
And so I guess
she sees him as Bob.
So I guess her response to her dad molesting her was to see him as just this monstrous, evil man and not recognize him as her father.
Because she asks him later on, like, who are you? Because she doesn't see him.
Yeah.
I guess
he says, I thought you always knew it was me.
Which makes me think that he was also just molesting her.
He thought that she was into it or something. Because she's into it when Bob comes in later.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. She said something about Sheryl Lee, about how people would like come up to her about like the whole I was incested or whatever, and like that helped
really
in a way to get through it.
Whatever you got to do, man.
I mean, like to get it out or to get through it or whatever. I don't know. I have not had that happen to me, and I'm very glad that it hasn't. I'm sorry if it has happened anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, lucky us.
So she goes into Donna. Are you my best friend? And Donna's
she's like,
yeah, whoa. She's like, you're freaking the fuck out. Of course I'm your best friend.
Yeah.
So she brings her inside, fade to black. Cut to Dad sitting at that dinner table that night waiting.
Oh, and he's like
he's acting all weird. And so you don't know, like, does he have like a multiple personality thing? And so when he's in that personality, she sees him as Bob?
Right, maybe. Or she's getting, because she saw him earlier and there was nobody else in the house but Bob.
Because
so
this
now
seems to be when she very first realizes
that her father is Bob.
And now, so I guess she didn't really scream when she saw him because he doesn't seem to recognize later that she saw him. Because she asked him later, did you come home during the week?
I think sometimes he knows and sometimes he doesn't know that's what's going on. Because every once in a while, like when he goes in later and he tells her, like after all of this, like it seems like he's her dad again. Like, I'm so sorry and this, that, whatever. But like when he's Bob, he's Bob. Because Bob says something about that, like when I pull this ripcord and get out of here and move on. Because he's a transient evil
entity.
Yeah.
So she comes home and Dad's acting real fucking weird. He's like being all mean and like you didn't wash under your fucking fingernails and you go wash before dinner.
He grabs the finger that eventually has the whatever underneath.
Which again, we don't resolve in this.
No. You don't know why. You just know that that's the connection.
Yeah.
Which you don't yet because you do all of that in the series part. Was examining Laura's body.
Right.
But spoiler alert, sorry, she dies.
And so he sees this necklace she's wearing, this best friend's necklace.
Did your
why is
lover give that
It's
to
a
you?
best friend's necklace. Why would your very first thought be a lover gave it
She's
to you?
like, they're in high school. They don't call them lovers.
And you can tell the mom knows.
Oh, I know.
And she doesn't know what the fuck to do about it.
I know.
And
She
so
knows,
she's just
but
like,
she
leave
doesn't
her
know.
alone.
I know. Oh, it's
She doesn't
awful.
like that. Stop it.
It's so much worse in the movie and so much more over the top and like whatever than
a lot of
in the
crying.
series. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of like panicking and crying.
So she finally goes to the bathroom to wash her hands and just cries as she scrubs her fingernails. Like, what the fuck is happening?
know.
Because you get the sense that her dad has never been mean to her.
No.
Except for when he's molesting her, which in that case she sees him as Bob. So she's never even made the connection her sweet dad is anything but nice.
Anything but nice to her. Because it's like she finds out that this is what's happening to her.
And like he must know whatever part of him is Bob, like senses in that moment.
Well,
like,
I feel like he towards the end of it, he finds out like that's what happened to me.
So 10 p.m. that night, Laura's watching the clock. Mom's down there smoking and Dad's just being angry on the bed. And then he suddenly starts to cry.
Yeah. And he goes into Laura's room.
I love you so much.
I know. And she's like,
okay.
Okay.
He kisses her on the forehead. Good night, princess.
Yeah.
And that's when she starts staring at this painting of angels on her wall.
Right.
And then she hangs that weird liminal space room photo on her wall.
Right. And she goes to bed.
And why would you lay there and stare at it from your bed as you're trying to fall asleep? That is not going to help.
Well, because she's going into the Black Lodge.
Well, but
that's how you get
it's
in there.
not her. So we enter the photo as she falls asleep.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And the old woman beckons us to enter another door.
Right.
And that child, that David Lynch baby, is in the dark corner
with the nose.
And when he snaps on the light, it turns into the lodge.
Right.
And the ring is sitting on the piano, and it's Dale who enters the
Right.
lodge. So
Dale's
this is
in
now
there.
Dale's dream, I guess.
Because when do they tell her that the good Cooper is in the lodge and he can't get out of the lodge?
It's coming up, I think.
Okay.
So we see the small man who we don't know yet, I guess,
The
is
man
the arm.
from another place.
Yeah, the man from another place.
Right.
And he's like, do you know who I am?
I guess they did this by speaking.
So they had him speak
backwards
reverse and then played it forward.
Played it in reverse, so it came out forward.
I am the
arm.
I say that for, I don't even know why, but I say I am the arm too much.
I liked the one that they did in The Simpsons. Like, suit, Burns, suit. They did a whole, like, who shot Mr. Burns?
Oh.
It was funny.
Yeah. So he is the arm and he sounds like this. And he holds up the ring to Dale with the symbol on it.
Yes.
And he tells Laura, don't take the ring, Laura. Don't take the ring.
Right.
And then she kind of wakes up.
And there's
dead Heather Graham is lying beside her.
Right, but it's not, is it? Or is it her?
Yeah, she says, my
Okay.
name is Annie.
Yeah.
I've been with Dale and Laura. The good
That's
Dale
right.
is in the lodge
right.
and he can't leave. Write it in your diary.
And she doesn't have the diary now.
No.
It's at that guy's house, Harold's house.
But she has another diary, which is the diary they find in the show, the one with
Right,
the key
the one
in
with
it.
the key and
Yeah.
the Coke. So anyhow, she like wakes up and she has the ring in her hand.
And now she's scared and she gets up to go to the door, but she looks back and sees in the picture that she can see herself coming through the door in the photo.
Right.
And now she's in the picture looking at herself sleeping and she wakes up and she has no ring in her hand.
Right.
And it's
and
morning.
now it's like the morning. Yeah.
So she takes that picture off her wall smartly.
Of course.
And lays it face down on her desk. Hello again.
Hi, and welcome back
from our abrupt break.
You may have noticed
that we cut off very abruptly,
and that's because at some point Someone hit stop.
Someone being
Bob
me,
hit
Nicole.
stop. Bob was like, nope.
Bob was like, you're not finishing this episode. You will not reveal
We were
my
hijacked
secret
by
identity.
Bob a week ago. So now here we are. We listened back and we found out that the second half of the episode gone forever.
Yeah. So all week long, we've been trying to figure out how we covered Twin Peaks in under an hour.
In under an hour. Like, that seems weird.
I could not remember hitting stop.
Nope.
But apparently I did.
Well, she must have hit stop, but we continued to talk
We
to
finished
each other.
the episode
We finished the
into
fuck
the
out of this
ether.
Yeah. We finished the fuck out of this episode, but it was just us talking to each other alone in the garage.
So now we do have a research assistant.
We do now. Kim's here as our...
Kim as the arm.
She's the arm.
Yes. She will be here to be
Make sure we don't do that shit again.
Yeah, make sure we actually finish the episode this time. So where
It's
we
so
left
perfect.
off,
This
I
is
know.
how we're kicking it off, you guys.
Woo!
This is either we're getting out the last shit of 2024 because, again, like we said, we're time traveling. We're still
Yes.
in last year
We
in
are.
real time. So we're either jettisoning the rest of the bullshit of this year, or next year's going to be a shit show.
Yes, this is how we're starting it off for sure.
So I don't know. We'll see.
So we left off.
We
back
left
at
off, right.
Leo smacking Shelly upside her
I
head.
know. And again, like I said, like, I am not taking this shit from Leo. I'm not.
No.
This is how we live, Shelly.
Right?
This is where we live, Shelly.
Like maybe you shouldn't have married like a 17 or 18-year-old girl.
I know. And
If you
what
want her to
was she
scrub on her hands and
What was
knees.
she getting away from that Leo seemed like
Right?
the better?
Because we never see her family, I don't think,
No.
even in the series, do we?
I don't think so. She's like
Not
a
that I
foundling.
recall.
She was really close with Peggy Lipton.
That's it. That's all we know.
And that's it. But yeah, like and I know she's young because she's dating little Bobby B.
And speaking of which, the phone rings and it's Bobby, but for
Right.
Leo, because in addition to fucking
Right.
Shelly,
He's working with Leo and all this cocaine.
he buys all his drugs off of Leo.
Right. And he's like, oh, the football is empty.
I'm looking for Santa Claus.
And like Leo's like, why the fuck are you calling
You owe
me
me
here? Like
$5,000
$5,000 doll hairs?
A high schooler?
Really? Where do you think
You
you're going to get that money?
fronted a high schooler $5,000 of
$5,000.
cocaine?
That's not going to work out for you, Leo, in
And
the
like
long run.
Bobby's parents are what? A military guy and like a
Yeah.
housewife?
Yeah.
He ain't from money.
No. Where is he getting money from for like just cocaine and like recreational cocaine?
And that's why I thought when he makes his next phone call to Jaques and Jaques like, Bobby, baby, you must be desperate to come to me.
You only call me when you're desperate.
I thought for sure this was going to
He's like, "Are you
culminate
gonna
in Bobby
blow me?"
giving
Yes.
blowies at the fucking
I thought he
Bang
was going to
Bang
have
bar.
to fucking Julian.
Yes. Because what was
And
that
so
all
now,
about?
instead of owing $5,000 to Leo, he's going to owe $10,000
To Jaques.
to the Canadians, these mysterious
Yeah.
fucking Canadians that Jaques sets him up with. Like, what was the
And yeah,
end
so
game
I
here?
owe $5,000 to Leo. I'm desperate for cocaine. Well, I know a way where you can get $10,000 worth of
Right,
cocaine by
just
just meeting a random dude in the
out
woods.
in the woods. You'll
What?
know him when you see him.
Canadian
maybe.
exchange rate.
Well, isn't that more? The Canadian dollar is worth more.
Right?
No, nobody is. I don't understand the money exchanged for the services that are happening in these.
When you never see what kind of money does Laura get
That's
for
what I'm
her
saying,
trips
like,
to the fucking to Jaques'
What
place.
is she getting paid? I mean, she's obviously paying for fine lingerie.
Right.
And velvet
fucking
Kelly
or
Bundy
suede,
dresses.
suede or velvet Kelly Bundy
Suede.
attire.
Oh shit! Like Can't Buy Me Love.
Was it suede?
Yeah, it was the suede thing. She spilled the wine on the white suede, and then she had to like work for the money.
That's right. So back to Laura at home drinking her parents' scotch when Donna arrives and wants to know where she's going.
She's got the smooth jazz on. She's having a drink before she like goes out to die.
Nowhere fast, and you're not coming.
Right. She's like, oh, but me and my Bobby socks really want to go.
Right? I could totally bone dudes for money too.
And meanwhile, like the Palmers are out dancing.
Can you imagine?
No.
The Palmers out
I mean,
dancing?
like, because what's it? Leland likes to do a little dance with the.
I guess, but the mom just chain smoking the whole time while they dance.
She's like, I know what you're thinking about while you're doing this,
Oh,
and it's
that
really
too.
freaking me out.
That too. So Donna is like, Laura tells Donna, I'll call you tomorrow, and she tries to ditch her.
Right, like you gotta go. And then like she takes off
to the Bang Bang bar.
Right. And
where she runs into the log lady.
Right, who is like, once these things start, you can't, it's
this
hard
kind of
to
fire
stop them.
is hard to put out.
There you go. Yeah. And like she
gives her this whole speech about the bowels of innocence burning and
right,
whatever.
that
and
they
like
burn
strokes her
first
cheek.
and whatever. And like she seems to understand, like,
she seems like moved.
maybe don't go in there.
But she goes in anyway.
I know. And like this bisexual lighting and the Julie Cruz, like, is this the music you get a boner to?
Like, this is the fucking jams? This is the sex worker lodge.
Right.
This is what
this
you
is
get
like
into
the sex
first.
Traffic. Like, it's making
How do we
her
get all
cry.
these big burly Canucks horny?
I know. Like, everybody's rock fucking hard out there.
Soulful fucking music.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Like, and she's already on the verge of tears before she walks
she's
in
like
there.
crying
like, this whole
when
thing's
she sits
making
down.
her cry. I guess that's what they like up there, because then they can apologize.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry for the
So
sex trafficking.
Donna follows her, and Donna's like watching her cry from the bar.
I know, and like so, Donna goes. She's followed her here. She sees her crying.
Jaques gives her a little nod and sends a couple of dudes over to her table.
Right. While she's kind of crying.
While she's still crying. And he like puts a 50 on the table, and she's like, oh, so you want to fuck the homecoming queen? And he's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, like you're going to want to go around the world.
Oh,
She's
you
like,
want to go all the way? You going to do it to me?
This can't even get you to Saskatchewan or whatever the fuck
grabs
she says.
him by the balls.
Right. Like, you're going to do it to me?
And Donna comes over and tries to save her, and she's like,
what are you doing?
Like, this is what I do.
Yeah. This is how I be.
So we start this like silent challenge session.
Right, where she goes making out with Book.
Oh,
Book, and I'm here to
so
fuck.
much tongue.
Oh, God, that's what I was saying. They giving her the log jammer.
Slamming back shots, match for match, making out match for match.
Right, with the other guy.
And then they go to the flashing red light seizure room. Welcome to Canada.
Oh, my God, this whole scene makes me feel very off kilter, and like, I don't want to be here.
Whether you're sober or not.
No, I don't want to be
high.
there.
Yeah,
I don't want to be there, not for a moment. Like, that place would freak me right the fuck out, and I'd want to leave. Like, and it's not the bush, it's not the titties,
right?
It's not the
like
jazz.
this slow jazz happening with this topless woman on stage,
and
and
with,
Jaques being all
lights.
weird and cryptic. There's no tomorrow.
Oh,
you know why, baby? Because it'll never get here.
It'll never get here. And they start talking about Theresa Banks.
First, she's macking it with Jaques.
Oh,
and
well,
like,
that's right, because Ronette rolls up. Like, oh, shit, there's Ronette.
right.
And
Because we
they're
have
the
the whole,
party
I'm not
twins.
Jaques, I'm the great Went.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the muffin. And
Oh,
what a muffin you got. Come on now.
Oh, is this where they're doing the beer switcheroo and like...
Yes, they're passing the
dosing
beers
thing?
around in the circle, and Buck clearly openly pours something in a beer.
And I don't know if Donna sees it, but Laura definitely does.
For sure.
And she knows that, like...
She sees her take the beer and is like, chug-a-lug, Donna.
Yes. Like, this is how you don't want her to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, anything can happen once everybody's all high. Because even being in this room...
And I don't know what kind of drugs they're taking even.
I know, it's Mystery Canada drugs. It's snow. Informal. A licky boom boom down.
So they're dancing. They both go out and start dancing with their dudes.
Right, and like Laura's getting them titties out on the dance floor.
And that's when Ronette Pulaski comes up.
Sure.
Which you only know because there are clear
It
subtitles
says
that are like
Ronette
Ronette Pulaski.
You remember her. And like, she's like, oh, I haven't seen you since I got kicked out of One-Eyed Jaques.
Which I had forgot this was not.
Right,
So how
it's
many
the
bars
Bang
does
Bang
Jaques
bar.
own?
I know, or that he works at, because like he was behind the bar. Like, I can't
so
imagine.
maybe he doesn't own it.
He just has to work at all of these Canadian sex trafficking bars.
Apparently.
Where they supply cocaine to 17-year-olds.
He's like, hey, my party twins, my high school sandwich.
Oh, let's put some meat inside. Oh, no, Jaques, no.
And that's where they talk about Theresa's been dead a year.
Right.
And that she was blackmailing someone and was going to get rich.
Yeah, and then he also says something about, like, he asked what your dad looks like.
Yeah, he wanted to know what our fathers look like.
I thought it was just Laura's father. That he said both.
Yeah,
because she was like, he wanted to know what my father looked like.
So, but Ronette said he called wanting to know what our fathers looked like.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
So did she just kind of get the impulse that he was somebody's dad?
I guess.
And that's why he ran off?
Maybe that. Yeah. So she got the vibe that because those were the two that were there in the room. She's like, this was one of your fucking dads. Because why did he run off like that? Maybe it's happened before.
I mean, maybe it's happened before.
So Laura and Ronette are at this booth with Buck, and she snaps her fingers at him and sends him under the table
and he,
with
like,
a fucking
goes to,
gesture.
Holy shit, eating her out under the
But
fucking
like
table.
it seems
both
like
of
both
them,
of them, like eating one out and fingering the
or
other or something.
and
maybe?
they're trying to have a conversation here.
But
they're trying
like,
to have a conversation here.
Excuse me.
Right? I do beg your pardon. Can you not for just a minute? You think that's what he was doing under there?
And when she looks over, Donna's getting her titties sucked on, and she flips her
I know.
shit. And I'm like,
She
bitch, you watched her get
screaming.
roofied. What did you think was going to happen?
She's all stretched out over a table, like half naked.
And Donna was having a good ass time.
She was doing okay.
She was not
doing okay.
She was not trying to fight.
feared.
Nope. She
Nope.
didn't seem scared.
Nope.
She was like, suck them damn titties.
Suck them titties. These titties ain't gonna suck themselves.
No, they are not.
These titties are not gonna suck themselves.
And she goes over there and shoves the guy off and covers Donna up. And Donna's like, hey, get my damn titties sucked.
I am on the cutting edge.
Oh my God, you guys, we could not think of why is Moira Kelly so familiar. What else is she in? And she's like cutting edge. And I'm like, yes,
1000%. 1000%. That's it.
Why did the cutting edge have a hold on us?
Why can't I think of that other guy's name? I'm like only thinking of Darby O'Gill and the Little People and Dabney Coleman, and his name is neither.
It's
something. It's like Darby O'Gill and the Little People is his name.
Fire in the Sky.
Yes. Fire in the Sky
guy. What's his name?
Fire in the Sky guy.
Fire in the Sky / the cutting edge. But so Donna yells at Jaques to pick Donna up and carry her out of this place.
Home.
And I don't know why Jaques even did that. Like,
I know. Because
he runs a sex trafficking place. Like, what does he care?
Right.
I never watched One Tree Hill.
Oh, and that was the other thing we found out that Jaques was on Grace Under Fire.
Yes, we were like, where do we know Jaques from? Like 40
fucking
episodes of Grace Under
as
Fire.
Dougie.
Yeah.
Because I could not think of when I watched The Return. I could not think of why like the name Dougie kept bouncing around in my brain, and that's why.
Did you? DB
Sweeney. See,
that's his name.
DB Sweeney. See.
So in the morning, Dad pulls up to get Laura from Donna's house. They're on the couch having a little moment.
Right. She's like, I don't even remember like getting home,
Life
getting
is
in my
full
bed.
of mysteries, Donna.
Right. We just whisked you away back to your house.
And she's like, are you really mad at me for wearing your jacket? To wear my stuff.
I don't want you to bring my stuff.
Like, does she think her clothes are possessed?
I don't know what
I don't know.
Like, Laura is, she is gone.
And Daddy shows up and sees them all close. And this is where he has this flashback of her and Ronette on a bed.
Yes, when he went to go, like, meet up for this. Well, no, do we not know yet?
I think we may have already known.
I know, because we've done this a week ago, and now this is like a weird. This is funny. We probably said I'm willing to bet like it'll be 89% if we could somehow call down that first recording from the skies. I bet you it would be 80,
very close,
89% the same fucking
probably.
Words.
So he picks up Laura and goes to meet Mom for breakfast, but there's this dude like driving recklessly behind them, trying to get around them in this camper van.
This little camper thing. And what the fuck, this guy?
And the log truck in front of him about to Final Destination their asses.
And they're stopped at a light, and like there's a guy in a walker and like a nurse going real slow across this thing, and like the camper van like comes up and like pulls around and all this shit, and he's like hollering or whatever, and it's Mike with the one arm.
Right, and Leland's trying to like drown him out by revving his engine viciously.
And like it's all very like
it's
tense
chaotic,
and fucking
intense,
chaotic,
yes.
and everybody's screaming, and it's like this whole fucking
the thread
thing.
will be torn, Mr. Palmer.
Right.
And like Laura's
he's
screaming
got the ring.
And yes,
he's like got
yes,
the
he's wearing that
ring
same
or whatever,
ring, yes.
and like because he knows what's gonna happen.
I don't know.
Somehow, like he knows that this is where, because he's Bob's buddy.
Right. So finally he pulls off. That truck moves out of the way. They pull into the nearest like mechanic, and everybody's freaked out. Like, Mister,
Right? What are you doing?
you shouldn't do that to your car.
Hey, leave me alone. She's like, "Oh, did you?" Is this where she asks him if he?
Well, he starts having a flashback of him fucking Theresa Banks. Like
Right.
he sees a photo and he's like, "Oh, she looks just like my daughter."
Ew.
And then he's fucking her.
Ew.
And he's like, "Oh, you told me about these other girls that like
right.
to party.
I want to party with these other girls or whatever. Like, set it up.
And then back to Laura being like, "Dad, what the
Right.
fuck?
What is
like,
your
who was that
what's
man?
your fucking problem? Who was he? He looked familiar to me.
And then cut back to him in the hotel room, all chipper,
Right.
getting ready
Like,
to go have his
I'm about
three-way
to
with the
have
ladies.
a fucking
Woo!
time with 3 girls.
But it's his daughter and Ronette in their lingerie on the
Right.
hotel
And
bed.
he's
So we
like,
didn't talk about it
no,
yet
we
because
didn't.
this is where
it's
he
like,
remembers.
oh no, I can't do this. I'm chickening out.
I
He
can
tells-
only have sex with her alone in our house. I can't
Right,
have sex with
I
her in
can't
front of
have
other
it. I
people.
can't do this in front of fucking witnesses. Not the girl I'm about to marry. Not her little fucking murder.
Right.
Not her little friend.
No. And so he tells Theresa he chickened out, hands her
Right.
some money, and leaves.
Yes.
And then sees that creepy David Lynch mask kid running around.
Right, like hopping around
doing his
the
little hop
fucking-
dance.
the parking lot for reasons.
And then back to the present day in the car.
Yeah, for known only to David Lynch.
And now, right after this traumatic incident in traffic with the one-armed man, she's like, "Dad, did you come home during the day last week?"
Right?
What a time to ask.
I know. I guess
It's
who
been a
can
week.
say? I know, and she like screams it at him, and he was like, "No, wait, I did."
I thought I saw you.
Right, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I did. Where were you?"
Oh, I was hiding in the bushes. No, she didn't say that.
She, like I was down the street or whatever. So now she knows that it is her father.
Yeah, it took that for her to.
Right, to put all that together, because the only person she saw in her house was Bob, and then she saw her father leave the house at the same time.
So in her room that night, she's remembering the man who yelled at them and that he had that ring.
Right.
Like she saw in her dream and like Theresa had. And the light starts coming from the ceiling.
Right.
And she's like talking to no one. Who are you really? Because Leland's downstairs by the fireplace. So I
right.
don't know
He's
who
like
she's talking
pacing
to.
and having like a fucking moment too.
And he's remembering smashing Theresa's TV and killing her.
Right. He remembers murdering her. So now like Laura busts out a little Coke, right? Is this when she goes
In the
to
morning,
school?
she
Yeah.
opens up that diary with the Coke baggie and the key and gets all that Coke residue out to get ready for school.
Right. And then she tells Bobby that she's out. Like
Yeah,
she was
nearly
doing
out.
the last of her little cocaine bag.
And he's like, "It's taken care of. We're going to make a big score tonight. Meet me at 11.
Yeah,
in
2
the
doors
woods."
down from yours at 11 in the trees. Like they're out there partying. And
So yeah, they had out there wasted in the middle
Right.
of the night with a big ass flashlight to meet with a
because he
stranger.
has like a big ass bag of cocaine. Like you don't want me. You just
He
want
wasn't
this.
out.
I know. Like he was fine. But now we need another $10,000 worth of cocaine because this huge fucking baggie.
And that guy looked like that deputy who got drugged by his nostrils. The guy who came out with the bag of coke.
The red herring guy.
Yes, exactly.
The red-haired guy.
Red-haired herring guy.
Yes, it did, didn't it? Was it?
I don't know.
Oh,
That's my note though. Is that the guy?
Oh,
So he pulls out this giant sack of cocaine,
right.
but then immediately also pulls out a gun.
Yes.
So again, I don't know what the plan was here.
No, I don't.
They knew Bobby wasn't going to show up with $10,000 in cash. He's
Right.
17 or 18 years old. So what was I don't know what the plan was here.
Well, luckily, I guess, like he brought a gun along.
But Bobby also has a gun and shoots this dude lots of times.
Like he blows the back of his fucking head off.
Yeah,
and he's
shoots
like, "Oh
his
no!"
damn brains out.
And then
Laura's cracking the fuck up.
right. She's like, "You killed Mike."
And I guess he sort of looked like Mike, but not really.
But he's like, no, I didn't. Did I?
And he starts freaking out like, is that Mike?
Right.
And so they leave. They end up leaving without even burying the guy. They just throw some dirt on him.
He was like, we got to bury him. She's like, fucking for what? Who else is going out there?
Right.
And so, yeah, like they're all whatever. And they're all geeked out. So then they leave.
So in the morning,
here come fucking
James rides his hog down the street and honks for like, come on, man! You rode this loud ass motorcycle for her at 7 a.m. I thought you were the nice guy. I thought you were the sweet guy.
You were a sweet guy. He was trying out like being. He was trying to neg her. He was trying it out.
He's like, where were you last night?
Right?
You're on something again, huh?
But Leland is back there lurking about, so she got to go.
I got to go.
That
was the guy. That was the deputy from the other town that had the cocaine.
Oh.
Cliff.
So he would know. He would have known Theresa and all that other shit too, because they're all.
So that's why they were obstinate about helping the cops with Theresa. Because he was involved in that whole probably sex trafficking drug ring.
Most likely.
Okay.
All right. I mean, it was dark out there. How am I to fucking know?
So alone in her room doing rails that night because she's got tons of cocaine now.
That's exactly what I fucking wrote. She's doing rails in bed. Like, that's what you're going to do?
That's how you get to sleep.
That's how,
right?
I mean, that's what I do.
And Leland brings Mom some milk in her room, which
the milk
means
of the poppy.
She knows. You could
that
see in her face when he brings her the milk. That's let's rape our daughter night.
Right. This is, I gotta, hey babe, I need you to sleep real heavy.
But she's trying to fall asleep and she sees this like shiny white horse.
Right? Is
in
that
her
like
room.
the opiates in her system now at this point? Or is that pale rider death?
Right? I don't know.
Yeah. If you want to ride.
And now the flashing lights come back to Laura's room and she smiles and pulls. And now
that's because he's turned on the ceiling fan.
Okay, but now she is already established when they were screaming in traffic that she's decided this is her father who comes to her room and rapes her. But in this moment, she like invites him kind of in and is like, who are you? Who are you?
Who are you really?
You know already.
I know. Is she asking like who Bob is? Like who is this entity that she sees that's not her father? Because then her father sounds really disappointed.
That she didn't know it was him. He thought she knew it was him the whole damn time.
I know. And he sounds like bummed out that she like.
He thought they had a thing going on.
We had
You've been pretending I'm Bob this whole time? Who the fuck is Bob?
Gross. That's so fucking gross.
So yeah, so at the breakfast table, she's just like
she's
silently crying into her oatmeal, and Dad's like, "What's up? It's just another morning after I molested you. What's the difference?
I know this is always like
I've been doing this since you were 12.
Stop it! I mean, I know, but God,
it is though.
God, I know.
And so she runs off from the table. Mom lights up another cigarette, and Dad goes up to her room to see what's wrong, and she's like, "Stay away from me."
Right? And he's like, "Whoa!"
And he like realizes.
Like, like
it's not okay anymore. But then he says later, like, I thought you knew it was me.
Right, but it's okay. I'm gonna rape you anyway.
So she goes to school and just cries all day, and no one notices. Not even Donna.
I know.
She just weeps all day long.
Not James. It's like nobody notices how fucking damaged this poor girl is. Like how in much trouble she is.
So Laura goes to Bobby that night and she don't want to fuck. And he's like, oh, you just want the drugs.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Give me that big ass bag of cocaine.
You don't want me. You just want the blow.
You just want my doggy style.
And he's like, it's okay. And he just gives it to her.
Right. That's fine because I'm fucking around with Shelly anyhow.
Right. I know. He's already got a side piece. So she goes home and her mom's on the couch. She tells her good night, does a bunch of blow before bed. Some pills, some Jack Daniels.
She's getting all lit up because she knows now that at this point, her time is short.
I guess. So she's lying on her bed in her panties, but like a cashmere sweater, like a full satin pink bustier and a cashmere sweater.
That's where that money go. To Fredericks of Hollywood.
And James calls.
Oh, yeah, here he come.
And she's like, I can't talk, but I'll meet you in 15 minutes.
She's
and then she's like,
why did I say that?
And she looks over at her angel painting, and that angel disappears.
Oh.
So she climbs down the terrace, and again, James
I know.
loud as
Loud,
blah, 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 blah,
fucking
blah, 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 on this motorcycle.
I know, and like everyone's wondering how did fucking Leland
Her
peep
dad's
out the
looking
window
out
because
like-
he heard James's motorcycle coming from 3 blocks away in sleepy Twin Peaks.
Yeah. So
Who else even has a motorcycle? I see.
I know, I
one
ain't seen
other
no other
motorcycle
motorcycles.
in town.
So she hops on the back, they take off, and he's like trying to get to the bottom of what's going on.
Right.
And she's just like,
What?
Ma'am, you're
I
fucking
just,
weenie.
yeah, she like mocks him and
Yes.
slaps him and like, you fucking little bitch.
And he's like, you always hurt the ones you love. He finally smiles
The
when she
ones
slaps him.
you
The only
pity.
smile you
I know.
see.
He's got a humiliation kink. That's why his fucking face is like that.
That's why he's Laura.
That's why his face looks like that.
So they start making out, and then she stops, and she's like, he might try and kill you.
Right. Like,
And this is where she screams, looking behind him in the
Exactly.
dark, which you don't see why she screams.
you don't know what she's looking at until the return, and what she sees is Dale Cooper,
standing out
who
in the
is
dark.
she's only seen in her dreams.
So he
at
must
this
be
point,
dreaming this as well.
He's dreaming it, and she's dreaming it at the same time. I don't know. Best not to analyze.
So she tells James, "Oh, you want to see this guy Bobby killed?" And he's like, "Bobby didn't kill nobody." And
Right?
she's like,
no, for
"Oh,
real.
you don't know."
Bobby did indeed.
She's like, "You
He
don't
killed
know me."
Cliff.
Yeah.
Nostril
you don't know me.
Cliff.
Donna doesn't know me. Your Lord disappeared, and it's just me now.
Right? She's gone.
And so she flips him off. He's trying to grab her and kiss her.
Right.
But she's like,
Take me home. Now.
so she hops off at a red light, but she like screams at him.
Right.
I love you.
James! And then runs off into the woods at night, and like he just leaves.
Yeah, just leaves her alone.
I mean, like,
Clearly off her
everybody
fucking
is
rocker.
so dramatic. Everybody is so fucking dramatic. In fact, those little cards that
Oh,
you
the
got
art
or
cards
whatever,
they
that
bought you?
picture of James, like that's 100% what's
How
going
he
on through
envisions
James's
himself.
mind when he sees himself, which we'll have to show you those. They're so cute.
So she goes off to the woods and meets Jaques and Leo and Ronette to go to the
Right.
cabin.
So like they were waiting there for her?
So she's like, I'll meet you at the dark intersection
when
off
you hear
of
me
the
screaming at James, you'll know.
have the car ready. Like, how did she even know what time she was going to be there? She wasn't even supposed to meet James.
I don't know. This whole thing is ethereal, girl. She was astral projecting. She was transcendental meditating.
So she goes and meets up with them. And again, so much making out with Jaques and lipstick all over her
And
face.
why? I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
Doing lots and lots of coke.
And they go up to Jaques' cabin.
And he wants to tie her up. And she's like, no. And Ronette's like, no.
Also, the bird is there because the bird is also part of the series.
Oh,
where they
right.
find, I think it's Wally, that they have to wait for it to start talking. And then like somebody murks the bird because he starts saying, Laura, Laura.
Oh, okay. So now they're like, they've tied them up and like are unnecessarily raping them, even though these
like
girls
they were there
willing to have
just
sex with them for money.
Anyway, and like there is so much smeared lipstick.
Yes. So
it's
much happening.
everywhere.
And Leland is watching outside the window. He's somehow tracked them here.
He's followed. He ran alongside. He ran alongside. He's Tom Cruise fast.
Yeah. He would chase the motorcycle and then he chased the car.
He did.
He's probably been to Jaques' cabin.
Oh, I'm sure of it. But like, whatever. I'm not going to ask questions.
So Jaques leaves when he's done, and Leland knocks him down and kicks his shit out of him and breaks a bottle over his head.
Right. And then fucking Leo comes out. Right. And
stumbles
that,
out
like,
and sees he's like laying there bloody and just
so
fucking
he
takes
just,
off.
Right. And like Laura's begging him, like, at least
Please
untie
untie
me.
us.
Because Ronette's not tied up. She's just passed out. Laura's the only one tied up and conscious. And she's like, please don't just leave me here fucking tied up. Because she knows, I think.
I don't know if she knows her dad's out there, but
Well,
as soon
she's
as
gonna
he
know
leaves, her
soon
dad
enough.
comes in and she
Right.
starts screaming and he starts screaming.
Right. And now it's like this whole thing really kicks the fuck off.
The one-armed man who was yelling at him in traffic
He's
is coming
running
up.
through the fucking, but he can't run as fast because he can't pump that second arm.
And he like Oh,
Oh,
and he takes him to this old train car.
Sure, like
Leland, and he keeps changing from like
both
Bob
of
to
these
Leland.
girls. Right, he's walking both of these girls, and who has the flashlight on them?
Right? Who's shining
Like
the
this-
flashlight on them for the filming?
It's like this whole thing. So Mike is running towards this train car. Leland's taking the girls to the train car. Like everybody is going to this spot where all of these things are about to culminate in this moment.
So he has him tied up in this train car. He slides this mirror under Laura, and when she looks down, she sees
it's like
Bob.
all of this light and like the lipstick and the fucking flashing shit, and she sees Bob in the mirror. That's instead of her, though.
It's her own reflection,
Right?
But she sees it
like,
as Bob.
That's weird. So
Because if her dad's a monster, she's a monster, or I don't know. And then
There's a little
he
Bob
has
in all
her
of this.
ripped out diary pages and is
Right.
like, this is where he's like, I always
thought
thought you knew it was me.
Ew.
Like somehow it's now he's upset.
Now it's like now I'm gonna kill you because I thought like you were
Right?
into this. Untoward.
And an angel appears for Ronette. Right? It was
Yeah, I
fine
mean,
as
I
long as
guess-
she knew it was him.
Right.
Until, yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So now an angel like appears.
For Ronette.
To release
and loosens
Ronette.
her ropes.
Right. And like she is.
She's
Like-
almost out. She opens
Right,
the
she
door.
almost
She's
is
about
out.
to get out of the car. And Leland beats her ass and throws her out.
Right,
And
and
she's
throws her out.
apparently dead
Or
she's not.
No, because she wanders
she's in the
into
series.
town. Yeah.
Right.
That's like they find her and they have to wait for her to wake up to see what she says.
Right.
But yeah, so she gets thrown out. The one-armed man finds her.
And he's just outside the train car like, no.
I'm
And
too
then,
late. I guess I'll
she's
go
still
now.
in there getting murdered.
I
and
know,
he just
like
leaves.
there's screaming and shit going on. Like he doesn't do anything for Ronette.
No.
He doesn't do
He just
anything
walks
for
away.
Laura. He's just like, whoops, I guess I was too late.
Yeah.
The door is closed.
Why did you
now
even
I
run
can't-
out there screaming?
I know. Like, what was the whole fucking point of your urgency?
I don't know.
If you were gonna do nothing once the whole thing started, was it inevitable once
I guess once it began.
once a certain point turned? I guess I don't know.
So Leland brutally and cinematically murders his own daughter.
Right, and when it's just so
And
awful.
then pulls her into the
Wraps
creek.
her in plastic, like you can
Yep.
see, like from her point of view, like the plastic getting wrapped up.
And then we see
on
him
her.
with the black lipstick, white face
Sure,
makeup in
right.
the lodge.
And yeah, he goes to the portal in the woods that goes to the lodge, and we see Ronette. She's left out there, like he kind of kicks her,
Right.
or whatever. And this is where she looks like that whole Black Dahlia thing.
Oh, where the way the body was posed
Right,
or
or
whatever.
like, well, not the way that her body was posed, but like her
the
her
mouth.
and like being in the lingerie or whatever. Even though Black Dahlia was naked, but whatever.
But yeah, David Lynch definitely is heavily inspired by the Black Dahlia murder.
I mean, I don't
For
know
Laura
if it was
Palmer.
only,
Well,
that
or
would
just
make
for like the
sense.
idea of because the Black Dahlia was so mysterious and nobody
that
really knew her
too.
backstory and she was so young and like some
Well,
people were
that-
like she was just a nice girl
and there
some people were
was-
like she was a whore.
Well, there was also the stories about how she was a working girl, like she
Right.
did what she had to do, maybe like Laura, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, and like so that kind of
And so if Laura wasn't the Black Dahlia, she was adjacent. Like
Right,
one
right.
of those girls who got murdered in this way was very
sure.
like it was kind of his own made up version of who the killer.
And what was it that you said was the whole thing that he was shown a picture?
Oh, that so and I don't know if they ever said who it was that showed him this, but somebody who knew that David Lynch was really into Black Dahlia showed him a picture and said, like, really look at this picture and
Yeah.
tell me like what's different, because he had already seen like the
Right,
crime
like
scene
all the
photos
crime
or
scene
whatever. And so they're
photos.
like, tell me, really think about it and tell me what's different in this photo. And he said he like looked at it for a long time and he couldn't figure out what was different. It was pretty much the same as what he'd always
Yeah.
seen. And then later that night he got home and he was laying there thinking about it and he was like, wait a minute, that photo was taken at night
Oh, that's weird.
and the body wasn't found till the morning, which means that this photo was taken by the murderer.
I almost
And how did this
wonder,
dude get a hold of this photo?
See, now I'm wondering, like, I kind of want to see that picture, first of all. I want to see what angle that picture was taken from,
Right.
just in case it's like, or not just in case, like, I'm going to fucking solve this mystery. But, like, if it's from one of the same angles and just fiddled with.
Right.
To make it look like it was taken
if
at
you guys
night,
are,
or if it was a different...
million shows have done the Black Dahlia, but if you guys are interested in like the most current one, Last Podcast on the Left right now is doing like a 3 or 4 part Black Dahlia murder, and they're like 600 episodes into their show, so they actually know what they're doing.
Do
and
like a whole lot of research.
Books.
I'm interested in that because it's an interesting story.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story. She was a very mysterious girl. And the house that they say that this very well could have taken place in is fucking beautiful.
And the people do not appreciate.
No, they don't.
By.
But it's a fucking. It's
they
like,
don't want to be associated with
like,
that.
It gives me like the Amityville house before they changed the windows.
Oh, okay.
Like there's something about it that looks kind of oogie, oogie, but it's beautiful.
Okay.
But it definitely looks fucking haunted. Yeah, that much.
So anyhow, so Leland does some Michael Jackson anti-gravity moves.
Oh yes,
just to show off.
He's like, what? Like he goes into the portal. He goes into the Black Lodge. Mike or the arm and the man from another place are waiting in there for him, and he is floating above while Bob is like seething and twitching and fucking whatever next to him. And like the man from another place wants his gamambarjara.
My garbanzia.
Yeah, like whatever.
My
it's
pain
which is
and
sorrow in parentheses. And like Bob takes it from
Leland's belly and like spits blood out of his hand onto the floor.
Right. And then that disappears.
And then we get a close up of the arm eating like something disgusting. Like
oh God,
corn.
It's like a.
Like why do we have
whose mouth that is?
I don't know whose mouth
why,
it is.
Why are they eating it like that?
I don't know.
It's so fucking gross.
And then Laura's body, and then why monkey? A monkey for some reason.
I don't know.
I don't know why.
I feel like
and then back to the lodge where Laura,
yes,
all dressed up and looking beautiful, is there with Dale
Cooper with his hand on her shoulder, like he always knew this was going to happen.
And the music rises and the lights flash.
Right, he's
and
like
the angel appears,
and she like cry laughs, but like
at first she seems relieved to see an angel, but then she seems like she's kind of panicking.
But she's like, wait, but that means I'm fucking stuck here.
Yeah, that this is it. This is where I'm at now.
Right, and like I'll see you again in 25 years.
And we do.
And we sure do, which is like a whole nother weird. It's completely different from the movie. It's completely different from the original run of the show.
Yeah.
Completely different.
For sure.
But also, what the fuck?
So yeah, if you've never seen Twin Peaks, you should check it out.
You should. You should just watch it.
It's on. This is on Max.
Max is where the movie is playing.
The original series is
on Paramount Plus, just without Showtime, and the return is on Showtime.
Okay, so yeah, you got to go to 3 different fucking places.
3 different places.
Oh, Mark Frost.
Oh, we did not talk about
We never
Mark
mentioned
Frost.
Mark Frost, who wrote a lot of the series, and I think who kind of took over in the later seasons. I think David Lynch had a ton to do with the first season.
Straight up cuts in her mouth. She's very much that.
And then I think Mark Frost took over the 2nd and 3rd seasons or something, which was maybe why there was some.
When I watched The Return, it said both David Lynch and Mark Frost.
Okay. So yeah, how did Twin Peaks doom us? It doomed us to love David Lynch and to be into this stuff, even though we have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Oh, I know, but I love it. I remember it was like years ago or whatever when Lost Highway came out. Like my brother finally saw Lost Highway, and he was like, "I don't know if I got that." And I was like, anybody that tells you they got it, like they're lying to you. So
movies
don't worry
like
about
this made me be able to enjoy movies like the next one we're about to do.
Right, where it doesn't have anything
without
to do
having
with,
to. I don't need to understand what's happening or what it means.
It's
just enjoy
what it is.
Enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, go for the fucking ride. It's
enjoy
bizarre.
The ride.
Just, it's fucking Januerie.
Yeah. So we have one email.
Oh, hey, just to kick off the new year.
So we ended the year with an email from Leo Allen, I think about Nightmare on Elm Street. And now we're going to kick off the year with an email from Leo Allen about...
We're going to call you Bookend Leo.
Right? It says, ladies, misery. Misery. Miserfuckery!
Oh, no!
I remember going into this movie thinking it'll probably be just all right, but was pleasantly surprised. And the ankle-breaking scene, who is the diabolical psychopath who decided to show that? The crazy part is we knew she's going to do it, but we didn't think they would show it. She did the wind-up and then bam!
Wind up and the pitch!
The gasp I gusped when they showed it. Another great episode as usual. Later, Doomers.
Nice. Thank you, Leo.
And then I was trying to see, I have a note to check the voicemail, but let me see if there's actually a voicemail or if I just wrote to check it. Let's see. No, we played the one from Newman from Movies.
Right.
The Movies for Days podcast or
Yeah.
whatever it was called. So
Newman.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't. The only other new thing we have is like Happy Holidays to you from Elizabeth from Meat for Tea. No,
Sorry,
not
it
the
was
close-up eating part.
No, it's the turkey and the corn mouth.
No.
Barf.
Oh, we do have this text. Hi, it's Amy here with a special opportunity for you. I've got an unbeatable rate on both auto and home insurance. I got a spam text.
Wow, thank you,
from
Amy.
Thanks,
Amy. I'll consider it.
So send us a real voicemail or a real text message.
Or a scam. Fuck it.
To 702-720-DOOM. And, oh no, what'd you do to your pocket, Kim?
Oh, no.
Is there a truffle in there?
Did your truffle get
She let a
loose?
Lindor truffle melt in her pocket.
Oh no, your pocket is fucking
She got pocket
Heather
chocolate.
Graham's pussy.
She got,
Oh wait, that's the next
oh
one.
no, that's coming up next. And until next week.
We'll talk at you next time.
Later, Doomers.